Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the new suit, the Banshee, or would you say the Banshee Gundam? Either way, new suit, and yeah, this is right after the Unicorn Gundam, and yeah, kind of surprised. Yeah, another 4-star unit. This time they gave us the Psycho Frame again as the 7th step up. Which I believe increases your the speed that you can lock on with funnels, which funnily enough this thing can counter funnels. It doesn't even have funnels of its own, but yeah, this is also a suit that has NTD mode. Except this time, if you're familiar with the Unicorn Gundam's melee by now, you'll probably really love this suit. And there's a reason I say probably, we'll get into it. But yeah, and I got 2 matches here for you, possibly 2 matches. The first match here is a custom I did. I don't know what was up with A+ rooms today and rating, but I just kept getting interrupted when I was trying to do my combos by unicorns coming in to do their combos, and they don't even kill the person. They're just doing it for damage, which is like, okay, that's cool and all, but I could have killed the person if you would have let me. So thank you, I guess. It happened so many times. I just got fed up and just went to custom matches. Actually, I had played a few quick matches, like mix-up mode. So yeah, I just made a custom match. I believe Taro's on the enemy team, and we'll see what we can do. So yeah, this is not a super serious match, by the way, so don't expect anything super amazing. If you do, if you want to expect something, there's plenty of videos of the Banshee right now that people showcasing how powerful it can be. And yeah, the build I have on right now, I have all melee strength, and with the NTD mode, yeah, that you can nearly reach 100 melee strength. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the second match, I believe, is just my first ever match playing the Banshee, so it's going to be significantly worse than than other matches, because it's literally my first match using it, and I'm not very good with raids. So anyway, let's get into these stats here. This is a 704-star raid, and you have 23,000 health with 24 ballistic and beam resistance. You have 30 melee resistance, 25 range strength, 45 melee strength, 135 movement speed with 230 boost speed. You have 75 thruster gauge and turning speed, and I believe that turning speed turns into 81 in space. And of course, since you have NTD mode, it does change your stats up, just like with the Unicorn. Your 25 range strength turns into 10. Your 45 melee strength turns into 60. Your movement speed goes up by 5. Now it's 140 movement speed. And I think you become the fastest boosting suit in the game with 240 boost speed now, and you get 87 turning speed. So yeah, that's a pretty decent chunk of the. Obviously, it's more like melee oriented, so yeah, it makes no sense that when we go over, or it makes no sense. It makes sense when we go over to the slots here with 21 close, 18 mid, and 14 long, that you want to build this more for melee. Yeah, this thing does insane melee damage with, especially with its weapons. So yeah, you might want to build more for melee with this one. And yeah, it can get crazy, trust me. But yeah, now like I said, I went for melee on this build, so definitely want to do that. It has the most parts, 21 in close range. And I think for the second match, I just went for a very basic, just, okay, here's some beam resistance, here's some melee resistance, a little bit of range melee strength, so yeah, it was pretty basic. But yeah, now we're going on to the weapons here. Going to start off with the primary weapons. I have to pull up my own video here for a second. Yeah, you have the Armed Armor BS. Stands for bullshit. You get 2,000, I almost said 2,800. Actually, no, it is 2,800. Damn, I'm stupid. 2,800 damage with a 70% heat rate, and it's 400 range. Has a cooldown time of 3 seconds with an overheat of 13. And yeah, this is a very basic stunning weapon. I've been told that it can actually penetrate, which I had no idea. Because I haven't really been in a situation where I got like a double stun, so I guess it does. I haven't been in that situation. I know one of its other weapons does do that, does penetrate, but yeah, again, very basic stunning weapon, 70% heat rate, does some decent damage, I would say, but you don't really have a lot of range strength, so you're not going to get a lot of damage out of it. Obviously, it's supposed to be a means to an end. You got to get a stun, and then follow up with your next weapon here, the Banshee Arm Beam Saber, which is 2,950 damage. The cooldown time of that is 2.5, and it's a very basic melee attack. Again, like very basic, just downswing, neutral swing. Very reminiscent of your basic Unicorn unit. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Beam Saber. Again, very basic. It does do a lot of damage, built for that melee. Over to the next weapon now. You have the Head Vulcan Mark III. We're going to the secondary weapons now, which is 150 damage per shot with 40 rounds and 200 range with a cooldown time of 0, and the reload is 11 seconds. And yeah, this is it's your basic Vulcans, and it does do a lot of damage, but of course you don't have range, so it's not going to be doing as much damage. It's still pretty useful for taking out low health enemies because it is ballistic damage. A lot of people build for it, so you can definitely still do some pretty good damage with it. And of course, just like with the Unicorn, actually I think this might be the same thing as Unicorn. Now I think about it, it does stun in less than 20 hits. I believe 17 actually. So yeah, if somehow you're fighting Kshatriya or maybe not an EZC, but it's another suit with maneuver armor. You can pop off your beam rifle and then go straight to the armed BS, whatever the fuck it's called, the bullshit, and then you use your Vulcans and try and get a stun that way. Pretty fast. Almost, I think it's about as fast as the EZZ's double beam rifle into the Vulcans. So yeah, that's pretty good. And of course, you can use them for basic Vulcan stuff as well. I'm sorry, I pressed the space bar really too loud, but yeah, you can use it for basic stuff like taking out pilots, all that good stuff. Next weapon here, you have the Armed Armor VN, which is 3,250 damage, and the cooldown time on that is 3.5 seconds. And yeah, it's basically just a big whacking, punching, like a glove, almost like a glove. I think it's supposed to open up, but it just doesn't. It looks like a fucking mantis shrimp running around, and he's punched somebody. The downswing, it does a sick ass uppercut. Like, I'm almost tempted to paint this like Dudley, even though he only has he has 2 boxing gloves, but Dudley from Street Fighter. It's so fun to use. And you can hit more than once with it as well. It does not heavy stagger, and you can do just basic combos with that and the beam saber. You can juggle somebody. And, yeah, pretty nice. Next weapon here, you get the Armed Armor BS Discharge, which is 700 damage per tick. I believe there's 5 ticks total, with a 80% heat rate and 400 range, with a 4-second cooldown time and 13-second overheat. And, yeah, this is a Jirobi beam, which, yeah, you don't have to charge it. You can just fire it, and it's already going off. So, yeah, that's pretty damn good. You just fire at somebody, it takes a few hits. I believe it takes 3 or 2 hits to stun, and you can use it again. It doesn't overheat, right? It has a cooldown time, and you can use it again. I say it's pretty good. Of course, you have to stand still while using it, so you are leaving yourself open. It's pretty good at poking at range. You don't want to use it at close range because, yeah, there's a lot of suits in this game that will just feast on your flesh if you stand still for just a second around them. But it's good for poking at people. You could probably use that as the initial stun and then go into something else. So yeah, the basic the basic Banshee here does pretty well. Of course, it's nothing like super amazing, but then you add in the NTD mode. But before we get into that, here's the end of the first match here. Yep, mission failed. Darn. Well, we'll look and see what we got here in the stats. And, hey, top individual and top damage, 160k. And let's see what we got on the other stuff here. After I praise some people. Yeah, there we go, Rebabu. And, yeah, second place, 7-3. Again, not a super serious match, but, yeah, there's a lot of people that play super seriously that can get damage like that. And yeah, on to the second match. But yeah, now we go into, let me see if I can get there. Yeah, there we go. So, when you activate NTD mode, one weapon changes, immediately, and that is the Armed Armor VN. It becomes deployed, which is 3,600 damage, and it still has the same, cooldown time of 3.5. However, you get a heavy attack out of it, and that heavy attack takes 1.5 seconds to charge. That's pretty good. That's pretty fast. Fast enough to even combo into it, but we'll get in that when we get to the skills. And yeah, if you hit somebody with the VN in NTD mode, it will heavy stagger, and the best part is that it will hit multiple times in a row. So, of course, also when you activate NTD, you get even more melee even more melee combo controller. So you can do 3 hits, boom, boom, downswing. Downswing's also, I'm pretty sure it's the same as the regular VN. It's just that sweet uppercut, except now it's in claw form, so you slash upwards, and yeah, that can do like over 7,000 damage. Like, it's almost a heavy attack in of it. So you're doing a Hazel 2 heavy attack with your downswing, damage-wise. So yeah, that's pretty freaking amazing when you combo it into your beam saber and all that. You know, if you don't have enough time to combo into your to your heavy attack, or you don't trust yourself to. But yeah, that's it for the weapons. And now we get to the skills. And for skills, you have, for the normal Banshee, you have Assault Booster level 3, High Performance Balancer level 1, High Spec and Back level 2, Maneuver Armor level 3, you get Force Injectors level 2, you get a Dodge Roll, a double Dodge Roll I should add. You get Anti-Blast Stabilizer level 1, you know, you don't get affected by mobile suit explosions. Flight Control Program level 2, so you can boost while you're in the air. The NTD ability boost, which we'll get to here in a second. Your High Performance Counter Program, so if you're at low health, you'll get a special counter, just like with, you know, all the other 4-star units. You get Special Armed Armor V. This sounds so stupid. Special Armed Armor V in Armor. Mouthful. And what that does is basically your giant fist becomes like a shield, and if you get hit in the let's just call it a shield for now, if you get hit in the shield, you'll take 50% less damage by range attacks, which is that's pretty damn good. However, if you get hit by beam attacks, I think it actually nullifies some staggers, so or cumulative staggers, maybe something like that. So that's pretty good. However, it's not too reliable because you know, hitboxes and all that. You do have a giant fist on your left side, but you know, your right side's still open. All that good stuff. You know, it doesn't really seem to work against melee attacks unless I'm just mistaken. So yeah, it's not. Don't rely on it too much. You know, it's good when it happens. You take less damage, but you know, you want to be getting in and start meleeing people, right? You got Special Leg Buffer level 2, you have Melee Combo Controller level 1, that's 2 melee swings, and of course you have Offense System, which is, reduces your reaction when you're hit by a range attack during melee combat, so yeah, you can't get instant stunned when you're doing your melee, which is pretty good for the downswing of the claw, because, you know, it's like a lurching attack, it has animations to it. It's not like the Bondok, you know, or the Bondok's claw attack where it does its downswing, and you get interrupted, right? But, yeah, and then you have NTD ability boost, which if we go to that will, basically, I think it's at 70% or 80% health, or 70% health. You activate it just like the Unicorn, you press the touchpad, and then you activate your NTD boost mode. And, yeah, let's get into it. Let's see, your Maneuver Armor becomes level 4, your Force Injectors becomes level 3, you get a level 3 emergency evasion system, your Flight Control program turns into level 3, you have Optimized Cooling Efficiency, level 2, I believe that's whenever you're boosting, it'll take a certain percentage off of your thruster gauge when you're boosting. Your Special Armed Armor VN Armor, which, you know, took 50% less damage when you get shot there, now turns into 60% less damage. So, yeah, pretty crazy. And you get Enhanced Offense System, not just Offense System, Enhanced Offense System, which reduces stagger when hit by a range attack during melee combat. It also boosts melee priority for all your equipped melee weapons. It doesn't apply to your heavy stagger though. So basically, you get melee priority level 4. Now, if latency in this game doesn't fuck you over priority-wise, you can beat every other raid in the game by doing your melee attacks. This is significant. This is really good. You can literally stop raids. Just regular, like, EZZ, go right through an EZZ. Zaku 4, go right through a Zaku 4. And that's not to say, suits that have lower priority than that. Yeah, obviously you can stop them. And this does work. It's not going to be working exactly for everyone because, latency. That's why I mentioned latency. So be careful when you are using this. You're using your melee attacks. So sometimes you're just going to get hit anyway, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that's still pretty good. You get melee priority level 4. However, it doesn't apply to your heavy attack, which is your last skill here. And yeah, it's a heavy attack. You take your claw, you charge it up, and you basically wind up your fist. You go, yeah, I'm about to slap that ass, and you plant it down on somebody, and you do a fuck ton of damage. Consistently over 10k, even on generals. If you're a support, you pretty much just instant die. So you really have to be careful when doing the heavy attack because it is telegraphed, very heavily telegraphed. Again, you raise your hand in the air. You stand still for a second, and then you slam it down. So you don't want to do it in front of somebody who's ready to counter you at a moment's notice. Yeah, this is a perfect attack. It's also very short range, I should say, too. Literally, it's just right in front of you. You don't zoom forward to hit somebody. Yeah, you can see it right there. But yeah, it's pretty good for comboing with somebody else that got a downswing. And if you remember what I said earlier, you can actually combo into your heavy attack, which can melt generals. I believe the way to how you have to do it is if you're in a ground match, you have to do a dodge roll as soon as you hit that beam saber downswing, and you have barely enough time to charge up that heavy attack and land it. Now, you still do a lot of damage if you don't go for that heavy attack because again, it's a very tight hit. So some people, like if they have certain controllers, might not be able to hit it, but still, that's really insane to do. And for space, all you have to do is just boost forward. You use your AM back. You boost forward, holding direction, and then you enter cruise control. You let go of boost, and you're in cruise control. And then you can just charge up your heavy attack. And yeah, there you go. It's even easier in space. So that's pretty fucking disgusting. And hey, mission completed. Let's see what we got going on real fast. Our first match ever. Didn't get up on the board. The Unicorn did do really well, though. We did beat our rival. Let's see what we got. 5th place, right in the middle, still over 100k, and still 5,000 individual score, and 6-2. So yeah. And that, of course, there's still the really good things about heavy armor as well. Going back to heavy armor, it does go through buffer and it does go through shields. So yeah, that is the Banshee. Oh, I forgot to mention NTD mode does drain your health. And unfortunately, the Banshee does not have a awakening mode, so you don't get your health back. But the upside to this is that your health actually drains slower than the Unicorns, and it seems like it drains by like 10 health a second, which is pretty slow. You can easily repair faster than that. Again, you still have to be careful in certain aspects because you don't want to be be really low at health, activate NTD, and then you don't repair at all, and you're just down to 1 health or 100 health, and it just keeps lowering. So yeah, it's not too big of a problem though. I should say it's not like the Unicorn where it feels like, oh shit, okay, I got to be careful how I use this. You can pretty much use it wherever you want. You just have to be careful of how low you are when you're the Banshee. Yeah, it's still really good. And yeah, that is the Banshee, and I gotta say it's a really, really powerful raid in the right hands. Unfortunately, these hands are not meant to be, controlling the Banshee. I'm not a very good raid player, but I've seen plenty of people do quite amazing things with the Banshee. The Banshee, the NTD mode, you get melee priority level 4. Again, as I said, that's really goddamn great. That can stop an EZZ doing its melee attack rampage. It can't do a dodge roll to get out unless it's low on health. So you can pretty much counter the other raids at this cost. Of course, it's lazy, doesn't fuck you over, of course. You have very basic weapons though. The Jirobi you have to stand still for, your VN, a railgun or whatever you want to call it. That one you have to stand still for, and it doesn't instant stun. You do have an instant stun with the armed armor BS, which that one, you just shoot somebody once, they get stunned, you follow up with your melee and all that. So there's that still, which is actually more reliable than the Unicorn Gundam's Beam Magnum. It doesn't do as much as the Unicorn's Beam Magnum, of course, but again, it's an instant stun. It actually is instant stun. You don't have to charge it for only like a second, and then it's ready to go, right? So that is an upper hand. That is an upper hand you have over the Unicorn. But for me, I think I'll continue trying out the Unicorn more. Like I said, the Banshee is just a little bit too melee oriented for me, but I can easily see somebody picking this suit, and if they put in the work, they can do quite well with it. And I did say earlier that you might probably like the Banshee if you like your melee suits. And I did say probably because this unit is more short ranged, compared to other melee attacks in this game. Like again, I mentioned the EZZ. EZZ has the really long double Zeta beam saber. This one has like just a normal beam saber, and then it has the claws. The claw in your regular Banshee mode is very, very short ranged, and the claw in your NTD mode, you get a little bit more range out of it, but it's still like claw striking. It's not like it's not the double Zeta's beam saber attack. So that's up to you. You have to work a little bit harder to get closer to use those melee attacks, and that can be quite dangerous at some costs because again, you have I say at some costs, it's only a one cost 700. There's still some counters to the suit. Of course, the Unicorn does do a lot of damage to the suit because it can activate its own NTD mode and then go ham with the melee on it, which will do a lot of damage to the Banshee. You have the Sinanju, which can, as we mentioned before with the Unicorn initial thoughts video, the Sinanju can directly counter you because it has the mobile shooting ability, which will stop your maneuver armor just straight up. So be careful of Sinanjus. And of course, it does have 3 stuns as well. Be careful of that. Like, you just have to be careful, as you will with any melee-oriented raid. You don't have as much. I don't want to say you have as much poking power, but definitely a little bit more limited compared to something like. I don't want to say like the EZZ because a lot of people don't use all of its weapons, but you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't have as much range, versatility. Although it is pretty good what's there. But that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And, type up in the comment section how you feel about the Banshee. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Again, I think... Sorry about that. I think some people really, really like this suit. But for me and some other people that maybe don't like their melee-oriented suits, I'll probably play this a lot less, although it is fun. I can see why somebody would really pick this, and honestly, if I get really good internet, I'll be definitely making use of the melee priority 4. Again, it can be a very devastating suit in the right hands, but it does have its counters, so technically you can kind of sort of balance it. It kind of sort of is balanced by other suits here. Oh man, I forgot to mention. I'm always forgetting stuff. With all the Unicorn suits are just packed jam full of stuff. The NTD mode on the Banshee as well can also jam Psychomu weapons at a certain range. I believe it's 200 range, just like with the regular Unicorn. So that might be a little bit annoying having all these suits that have Psychomu weapon locks. So maybe they should tone that down a little bit because if I remember the Unicorn. What is it, like 30 seconds, 20 seconds? Still a lot of seconds. And then let's say, okay, well now the Banshee's going to activate it. Okay, well now you have to wait, more seconds. You do have to be in range of it though when it activates NTD mode. So that I guess that's the balance there. But still, if you're one of those suits that relies a lot on Psychomu weapons, I feel bad for you. But that'll be it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.